Welcome to the first ever podcast of Zsports. My name's Zach Mosteller, and we got a special guest with us today, Aulden Nance.
Hello, everybody. Zach, I'm very glad to be here. Congratulations on launching your podcast.
Thank you, and you have launched your own podcast as well.
Yes, sir. Just started one around a little over a month ago or so, and talking about a little bit about politics, geopolitics, and current events, and how our world is shaped.
Yeah, I see that you've gained some attraction onto the page. You've gotten a couple hundred followers, I see.
Certainly. Yep.
Yeah.
Trying to grow it brick by brick and day by day.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So this podcast is, like I said, Zsports, where we're going to deep dive into sports. We're going to deep dive into sports betting and all of that different stuff just involving around sports, whether it's college, NFL, MLB, NBA, you name it. We'll go through all of it week by week. But to kick things off, playoffs have just started. We wrapped up Saturday. We wrapped up Sunday. We are waiting for tonight's game to see who the Patriots play. But overall, it was a great weekend of football. Saturday's games were shootouts. The first two on Sunday were shootouts. But the Patriots game was more a defensive battle. But we'll go game by game, kind of breaking down what we saw, what we thought, and then the teams moving forward to see exactly what they have in store for the future. So to kick things off, we're going to start off with the Panthers and the Rams. Final score of that game was 34-31, and both teams really showed out in this one. Matthew Stafford put on a show. He threw 3 touchdowns and an interception, and it was a better outing than what you would say for the Panthers from their first matchup. Or, sorry, the Rams.
Absolutely, and to the Panthers for a second, the NFC South champion kind of lumping in there at 8-9, not really, not really high expectations in particular at all.
Right.
Bryce Young's first playoff game, I believe, so a little additional pressure on the Panthers.
Yeah, and I thought that the Panthers coming into this game really just didn't have a chance at all. They had the line at 10.5, which I was like, 10.5 is a lot of points in the NFL. For a team that they already beat as well, it was kind of disrespectful to the Panthers. So I think they came out with that chip on their shoulder of like, hey, we're in this. Like, we can do this. We've shown it that we've done it in the past. And they carried that into the game with them. But the NFC South this year, it was kind of disappointing. And I know, Aulden, you're a Tampa Bay Bucks fan. So unfortunate for you guys that you guys weren't in that position.
Yeah, it snapped, I believe, a 5-year in a row playoff streak, a 4-year division championship streak. Disappointing to say the least, particularly with the 6-2 start.
Yeah.
And then really just fell apart down the stretch, losing games against the Falcons and the Saints and the Panthers and a bunch of bozo teams that they should have defeated. But going back to the Rams for a moment, you almost have to kind of in their mind, they're on the road. That's also something to take into account. And they wanted that 1 seed, so they probably had a little chip on their shoulder as well going into that. And sometimes it's on the road, it's tough. It's an outdoor stadium. It's cold this time of year. So
and it was raining.
Right, raining. So that changes everything. Your grip, the texture you have on the football, ability to pass, fumbles, all of that stuff. So when there's poor and inclement weather, it kind of maybe gives the team that's a little generally more disadvantaged a little bit more of a chance.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. It gave the offense more of a chance just because they're used to that type of weather and not having to play indoor. But, yeah, that's a good take on that game. Puka Nacua really, really balled out in this game. Started their opening drive with a touchdown, and then had one in the fourth quarter. I think it might have been it's third or fourth, second half. He had another touchdown, and he arguably was probably one of the top three receivers. I would say top five receivers of all time.
Definitely, and that his first season as rookie season, he broke that record that had been around forever. It was
Yeah.
I can't even remember the other fellow's name who had it. And that record was so good it survived the 17 game season for a couple of seasons even.
Yeah.
So definitely some props, and I know Puka had some off the field issues this year, so he seems to be in that kind of mid career stage where he'll have to maybe mature a little bit, but there's definitely
Yeah.
potential for the Rams.
You're talking about with the Aiden Ross and all of them, the people that he
Yeah,
was hanging out with over there.
yeah, and wasn't he filming in the locker room when they were changing?
Yes.
Like team rule that you're not supposed to be live
Correct.
streaming
Yeah.
or filming or whatever he was doing.
Yeah. Yeah. He was doing a little bit of that. But besides the point, I think that the Rams are going to be a team that will more than likely get to the Super Bowl. I could see them beating the Seahawks in a close game if the Seahawks end up beating the Niners on Sunday. But yeah, if people were kind of figuring out who the MVP was for the regular season, and this is a whole different conversation, but I think that Matt Stafford will win MVP, and I think he showed it on Saturday night when he went 12 for 15, 140 plus yards, and two touchdowns in just the fourth quarter alone. And that's what happens when you leave too much time on the table for, a MVP type quarterback to go marching down the field, and that's what the Panthers did. They left too much time for him, and he simply capitalized.
Right, and the touchdown reception, I think, is it Cody Harkinson or Hartkey or
Yeah,
something?
Colby Parkinson.
Yeah, Colby
Yeah,
Parkinson. That was a solid little move he had on that disadvantaged tinier
yeah,
corner. But definitely an impressive drive down there in the clutch. Again, on the road,
yeah,
very cruddy and crummy weather to
yeah.
go along with it.
I think that the Rams are going to have to figure out something defensively because they let Bryce Young kind of do his thing for a little bit. So they're going to have to figure that out. And I think for the Panthers moving forward, when we talk about, the 2026-2027 season, the Panthers are really going to have to figure out their edge rushers because they don't have any pass rush. I think they rank 31st or 32nd in overall pass rush and getting to the quarterback and quarterback pressures, and some inside linebackers as well. So if they can develop, in those areas defensively, as long as, Bryce Young develops again this season like he did this past. I know they went 8-9, but if they can get those type of key guys on the defensive side, along with Bryce Young playing well, I think they can go back and win another division title. That's without saying that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't really improve much, which we know they will.
Certainly, and the NFC South is kind of wide open. It's currently the weakest division in the league. Fielding an 8-9 team as the nominee for the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Saints are still. They seem to have a little, maybe something to look forward to with. What is it, Tyler Shuck?
Tyler Shuck, yeah.
Yeah, Tyler Shuck at QB seems to have rattled Spencer Rattler out of town at this rate.
Yeah.
And the Falcons, who knows? They just went through a regime change at head coach and general manager, so they may have to take a year to go in the gutter and get some good draft picks. So
Yeah.
If the Saints get a little better and the Bucks get a little better and the Panthers get a little better, it could be a three-way race to where 10 or 11 wins might be good enough next
Yeah.
year to get you in.
Yeah. The Panthers just, as Panthers fans, you guys should be pretty happy to where you guys were. You fought very, very well in that game. It was a 3-point game. You were 10.5-point underdog. So, as Panthers fans, I think you guys should keep your head up. You did well. Bryce Young played well enough. And then, you guys are playing for the future. No one expected you to be there, winning the division especially. So be proud of where you guys did, where the team went, and then just hope for some better draft picks next season.
You know it. Yep. Yeah, we'll
Yep.
have to see how they progress in the next couple seasons.
Yeah, and that takes us to the night game, which was phenomenal. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
a historic night for Chicago
Yes.
and an awful night for Wisconsin.
Yes. It's typically the other way around when it goes
Yeah.
to Bears and the heartbreak. They're
Yeah.
usually the team, they blow the lead and the other team comes back. But we've seen this several times this season, and once against the Packers. I believe they were down a lot in that game late and won in overtime for
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, and let me just read you these stats by Jordan Love. 24 for 46, 323 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a 103 passer rating. If you're telling me that he threw 4 touchdowns and 323 yards, that they would get a W, just blind.
9 times out of 10,
Yeah.
that would be sure to hit.
Yeah, Dobbs had 124 yards and a tutty. Matthew Golden hadn't scored all season. Finally gets in the end zone. Reed scored, and then Christian Watson scored. So all the receivers scored for the Packers. And I thought well enough that they were going to win this game.
It definitely looked that way for a long time, especially in the second half when the Bears were only chipping away with field goals. The drives were coming up empty.
Yeah.
Williams, the crowd didn't look particularly excited or into it. So definitely props to Chicago for having that resilience and
Yeah.
battle-tested mentality to not give up and find a way to scrap back in it.
Yeah, and I think the biggest takeaway from that game was the missed field goal by Brandon McManus. That really changed everything in that game. And he did have a missed extra point. So if you combine those 4 points, it's a tie ball game. You're going into overtime.
Definitely. And the one he missed with only a couple minutes left in the game, that's kind of the first time when I believe that Chicago, they might win this game, and they might not just tie it at advance OT. They have solid field position. They have a little momentum. Let's see what they can do.
Yeah. Yeah, so heading into the fourth quarter, and we've seen this from the Bears multiple times this season, where they're down, they come back and win, but they put up 25 points in just the fourth quarter alone. And Caleb Williams, in the fourth quarter, had 184 yards and 2 touchdowns and went 10 for 21. So they talk about him as being the Iceman. He showed that on Saturday night against the Packers.
You know, and especially his first couple seasons, it looked like he was going to be memed out of the league, more or less. But give him some solid coaching. You got Ben Johnson down there up from Detroit, and you really see what the Dan Campbell losing the OC and the DC did to him and the Lions this year.
Yeah.
So definitely he's got a good little mentor in Ben Johnson, and we'll have to see what they can continue doing this season.
Yeah, Ben Johnson is an incredible, incredible coach this season. Has really, really turned that entire franchise around. Got Caleb Williams his first playoff win, and we saw this going into the season with Ben Johnson, him being the OC in Detroit, like you said, and them having a lot of big plays down the field, some trickery here and there. And, what we saw in the Saturday night game was the fake screen that ended up being a long touchdown to DJ Moore. It's straight out of Ben Johnson's little trick play, if you want to say. And that's just what he does. He said in the locker room, F the Packers. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I did see.
Yeah.
I believed he repeated it several times actually,
Yeah.
in different variations. So definitely good to see him hyped up.
Yeah, it was good to see the Packers, or I'm sorry, the Bears, finally catch a break in the playoffs. No double doinkers or having a kick return touchdown, and then next thing you know, you lose the game. So there's been a lot of unfair, unlucky type of situations out in Chicago, but I beginning of the season, and to this day, I still don't think Caleb Williams is good. I really don't. I think it's the Ben Johnson effect. Um, he misses a lot of throws down the field. He is very spotty, but on the other end of this stick is he produces when it matters the most, in fourth quarters, and that's just what he's been doing all season. Now, some of it could be the play callings, but here's the thing. You got to make the throws. You got to execute, and that's what he's been doing throughout this whole season. I just don't think he's got what it takes to ever win an NFC championship or to win a Super Bowl. Now, that could be a hot take for a lot of people. I just don't think he has the skill set to do it.
Right, and we'll have to continue evaluating his progress. You see, I believe the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer, and it didn't change this year. So,
Yeah.
he still has a little bit of ways to go.
He said what?
He still has a little ways to go in his
Yeah.
career to maybe prove he's one of these prime go-to Mahomey, Josh Allen type figures.
Right. Switching gears to the Packers. If the Packers end up losing next year on a first round exit, where does that put Matt LaFleur? Does that put him out of a job?
It's starting to look a little tough, and he's been there, probably 5, 6, 7 years or something
Yeah,
like
I'd
that
have to
now. Like,
look,
he's
yeah.
been there. He had the Rodgers years where he went, I believe Rodgers went back-to-back MVP, and they went 26-6 over those 2 seasons in the regular season. Like, they went 13-3 both years or whatever, and it could not get it done in the playoffs. Never
Yeah.
even made it. Never won the conference championship.
Yeah.
And so he's had a lot of cards before, and it's just been, whether it's heartbreak or just not able to execute down the stretch,
Yeah.
something has cost the team. So you're definitely looking at, depending on other circumstances, and maybe if there's another coach that went out there, he's definitely going to have to perform a little better.
Right. With the Packers, there was a lot of injuries on the defensive side. There was some injuries throughout the season with the wide receiver group, with Jordan Love, with Josh Jacobs. So, yes, when they lost Tucker Kraft, I thought that really changed the entire trajectory of their season. So, while it may not be completely his fault, LaFleur's fault, he's still the coach, and I think that you have to have that next mentality of this is the next guy. Like, you got to put Luke Musgrave into situations. I know he's not a Tucker Kraft, but there's no need to completely change the playbook from when you had them to when you didn't. And I think that's kind of what we saw from the Packers whenever Tucker Kraft went down, was they kind of closed some of those plays off just because they didn't think that Luke Musgrave, had the ability to make certain plays, which I get. But you still got to try and implement those plays that you were developing all off season, because Luke Musgrave was also more than likely getting those snaps in the off season as well, getting those reps. So I don't know. For Packers fans, one of my good friends, he's a Packers fan as well, and really heartbreaking to see them lose in Chicago. But he'll probably tell you that there's no way Matt LaFleur is going to be on the hot seat. I personally think he might be next season if they don't get a win, or if they don't, at least go to the NFC Championship. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. They'll get Micah Parsons back. They'll get Tucker Kraft back. They'll get some key pieces back for next season. Some of them may not be a little later on down the season, but I think their future is bright. I really do. They got Josh Jacobs. They got Jordan Love. Jordan Love's a great quarterback. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens, with them in the future.
They're still young and still some potential. Absolutely, Love has shown that he is at least formidable in the league.
Yeah.
Thus far, so it's not all a nightmare in Green Bay.
Correct. Moving into Sunday's games, the early slate, the 12 o'clock game, and man, dude, I was so excited for this matchup. Yes, I was excited for my boys, obviously, against the Chargers. We'll talk here in a little bit. But the Bills on the road to Duval. And I was telling everyone that I thought the Jaguars were going to win. They had the lead. They scored too fast in the fourth quarter. What do you know? Josh Allen marches down the field, runs 2 tush pushes, gets in the end zone, and then Trevor Lawrence throws a pick on his first drive. I was very disappointed. I can't stand the Bills. I hate the Bills. I don't like Josh Allen just because I'm a Josh Allen hater. But you got to respect him for his ability to do this day in and day out.
Certainly, and you referenced that tush push. That might have been the most effective tush push I've ever seen. They got 9 yards or something. Really,
I think they got like 11 or 12.
Yeah, they gained way too many for a play designed for a yard and a half at most, usually.
And it kind of helped Jacksonville in the back end just to save some time.
Yes, they were able to score a little quicker. And back to Jacksonville and Lawrence. Definitely Lawrence under some new coach, similar with Caleb Williams in Chicago. Now we got Ben Johnson. Now you're dealing with Liam Cohen coming off of a successful campaign with the Bucks last season. And before that at the University of Kentucky, I believe he was their offensive coordinator under Mark Stoops. And so, another young, bright offensive mind. It kind of turns one of these middle-aged career-type QBs into a more effective and prominent passer in the league. And the AFC South, other than Tennessee, really wasn't scrubs. Texans playing tonight, so 2 teams made it. And Indianapolis, I don't know how they didn't make it with how many starting out at 8-2, but
they had a big injury at the quarterback position, but
So,
but
definitely,
still.
Definitely Jacksonville they're on the up and coming.
Yeah, and they got a really young wide receiver out there, Parker Washington, who is just turned it on this season. It was really fun to watch him develop from week 1 till the playoffs, where he went absolutely nuts again. I know he came out with concussion. I think it was concussion, maybe, where they were checking him in the blue tent. He went to the locker room and then came back and scored a touchdown. But he was their reliable guy in the fourth quarter. But I think that Jacksonville is going to be scary heading into next season. I think Trevor Lawrence will finally get his first playoff win next season because they got a defense. They showed that they have a defense all season. And Trevor Lawrence struggled in the first couple of weeks of the season, and then he balled out in the back half.
Certainly, and even in the games that he was successful in, like the Kansas City game, he dropped the ball or he fell down twice,
Yeah.
tripped over himself and scored the game-winning
Yeah.
touchdown. So still, he's definitely got a lot of potential. Like you see Trevor, you see a lot of these guys. Stroud, it could be an example where they have a good first couple seasons and then they just kind of taper off, and then we don't really hear much from them ever again. Someone like Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston, those guys come to mind.
Yeah.
And it's good to see Trevor taking a step up in his career.
Yeah. He went 18 for 30, 207 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then he had those 2 interceptions. But I think as Jaguars fans, you were very disappointed. You were the 3 seed. You were at home, which I thought you guys had a favorable matchup against Josh Allen. He's never won a playoff game on the road. He was 0-4. And it's just, unfortunate that you had that tip ball at the end. But we got to give credit to where credit's due, and that's Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Josh ran for 2 touchdowns, had 11 carries, threw it for 273 yards and a touchdown. And they used Shakir a lot that game. I feel like every time Tony Romo was saying, Shakir, 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 he had 12 catches and 82 yards. And it just seemed to find the holes in that zone defense for Jacksonville.
You make a good point. Every time you'd look up, you'd hear Shakir,
Yeah.
and it was so common. And it really, someone that I didn't hear that much was someone like James Cook. So it took some pressure off of people like James Cook, who particularly didn't play well. They lost Gabe Davis, I believe, it looked like a pretty gnarly injury. So
knee injury.
Yeah, looked pretty bad.
Yeah.
So that's not good.
Yeah, and he's a big receiver, and I think he was filling in the gaps for Keon Coleman, who has been a complete embarrassment in the NFL right now. He probably won't be on this team next year. Mm-hmm. He's a complete bust for that Bills offense, and he may not be a complete bust in general. Mm-hmm. If he goes to a different team, he may do something pretty well, or he might have a good season. But, man, talk about an awful, awful injury for Buffalo heading into what's going to be a really tough matchup against that Denver defense.
Absolutely, and you're looking at, you have Sean Payton, Bo Nix, 1 seed, a home field advantage throughout. They're coming off of a bye. They're well rested. Maybe got a couple people back off of injury or something like that. Didn't have a risk people getting injured this weekend, which the Bills obviously lost a guy that's pretty crucial to them. So it's going to be tough. And I've been saying, though, with back at Allen, it's the first year with no Lamar, no Burrow, and no Mahomes. So if he's ever going to do it, it's probably going to have to be this year.
Yeah. I think you hit it right on the head that this has got to be his year if he wants to prove himself and to the league that, look, I got a ring. I got one before Lamar did. I got one before Burrow did.
Yes, and Burrow's been to one, and Lamar, he's been in the Final Four, the AFC Championship game, at least once, if not a couple times.
Yeah.
So
It's yeah, it's gonna be tough to play up in Denver. They got a really really good defense out there, Nick Bonita, um, and Pat Surtain. I mean, those two guys are just absolute dogs. So it's going to be. This is not once again a favorable matchup for Buffalo, and I think from the defensive side for Buffalo, they're going to have to figure out a way to stop the run, which we know they can stop the pass. We get that. We know that. But can they stop the run even with Bo Nix? We see Bo Nix use his legs quite often in games. So we'll see how that plays out. I think it's going to be one of those low scoring games. And I don't know what the over-under is right now. I don't think they put it out just yet. But it's definitely going to be a gnarly, bloodthirsty type of game.
You know, I think that's spot on analysis there, Zach.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. God, I really wish Jacksonville would have won that game, man. I really, really do. I was hoping. Gosh, I was hoping. So moving on, we had the Niners and we had the Eagles, and I really don't want to spend too much time on this one in particular. But dude, is it me or is the Eagles offense or the Eagles just in general the most boring team to watch?
I think you hit the nail right on the head there. In particular with the passing game not looking as sexy with Brown. You saw, I believe, in the first half, if not the first quarter, Brown and Nick Sirianni screaming like little schoolgirls at each other on the sideline.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
bunch of babies. It's always nice to see Nick Sirianni, especially after he does his loud celebratory screams after winning games. It's nice to see him head of Cancun for the rest of the time.
Yeah. And speaking of AJ Brown, he had 3 catches, I think, in the first quarter. He might have had 1 in the second, but he had 3 before the start of the second half. I didn't have any in the second, and that's what we saw out of Jalen Hurts in their Week 17 game. Was I think he threw for like 5 yards in the second half or something stupid. But this is what he did in the second half of this game. The whole offense doesn't make any sense. I get you're trying to establish the run, but at some point, you're going to have to go play action. You're going to have to spread the ball down the field and take shots. And that's just something that they couldn't figure out all season, it seemed like.
Yeah, it seemed like they regressed as a whole this year as well. I believe a win or 2 less in the regular season and a first-round exit. Definitely not what they achieved last season, to say the least. And, yeah, it's looking like, and again, with Washington having a down year, there wasn't much divisional competition, so they had a pretty smooth ride to the division championship. So maybe not as tested, maybe not as strong this season.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like Jalen Hurts, man. I really don't. I know I dogged Caleb Williams, and I'm about to dog Jalen Hurts. Yes, he has a Super Bowl ring, but there's my cat. Jackson, get down.
Got another guest on the pod, on the first ever pod.
Yes. That's my fat cat, Jackson. But anyway, going back to Jalen Hurts, I think he's completely overrated. I don't think he's a good quarterback whatsoever. He's a game manager. He can hand the ball off, and he can throw checkdowns, and that's just what he does. I don't believe in him whatsoever. I think if the Eagles still have him as a quarterback, they'll never, ever win another Super Bowl.
Right, and you see one name I didn't hear a lot this entire season was Saquon Barkley. I
Yeah.
don't know if he was injured or honestly, he seemed to have a down year, which I guess you can't replicate a 2,000 yard season every season and be the pretty
Yeah.
much the MVP more or less.
Yeah, it seemed
Oh
like every
yeah,
time he got the ball, that as soon as he got the ball, he was getting hit in the backfield, if not the line of scrimmage, every single time.
especially yesterday. That's just in the second half in particular. That's when I think they started to panic
Yeah.
with the play calling and the lack of creativity.
Yeah. It's the lack of Jalen Hurts in general. It's the lack of
Right.
his ability to be able to throw the ball. And, when you get put in those situations and you have to rely on Jalen Hurts, you're just not going to get it done. We saw that against the Chargers as well. Dude threw 4 interceptions.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just the Eagles, man, I hate the Eagles. I really do. But, gosh, I love watching Jalen Hurts struggle. I do. It's just they beat us in the Super Bowl, so now I can talk crap. So,
That's right.
but that 49ers, man, give it to Brock Purdy, give it to Kyle Shanahan. You lose George Kittle, you don't have Ricky Pearsall, and you find ways to win. And it was incredible to watch. They came out the game swinging. They threw a 50-yard bomb to Demarcus Robinson, and then he ends up scoring like 3 plays later.
Absolutely. And you're looking at Purdy. He made a couple bad errors. Yes, like that were really.
Yeah,
Didn't he
he
get
did.
picked off twice? I
Yeah, I
believe.
think. Let me see. I think it was twice. I think you're right.
Yeah, and the one of them,
yeah.
the fourth quarter, it seemed at a pretty.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not sure they're going to win this actually anymore after that pick, but the
It
defense
was.
give the
It was to the
defense
same
credit.
corner. The same corner picked him off twice.
Yeah, so yeah, you got that defensive back, that corner, already feeling good after the first pick.
Yeah.
Gets that second one, and that just makes him ecstatic. And back at Purdy for a moment, it didn't seem like they were going to be able to pull that out once I saw that second pick.
Yeah.
It looked like he was in trouble. McCaffrey, he did enough. I thought he was solid. He caught the pass from Jawan Jennings.
Yeah, the
That he
flea
threw it.
flicker.
Yeah, the flea
Yeah.
flicker, the trick play or whatever.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
creative.
And McCaffrey had 114 yards, total yards, and 2 touchdowns. He only had 48 rushing yards, but he caught the ball 6 times and went for 66 receiving yards. So Jawan Jennings had 1 catch. He had 1 big deep ball. Kyle Juszczyk caught 4 balls. I think that was his career high. And it came down to CMC and Demarcus Robinson really just making plays for that offense. So I thought Brock Purdy did well enough, obviously, to get the W. He went 18 for 31, 262 yards, and 2 touchdowns along with those 2 picks. Had an okay passer rating of 80.3, but
Okay.
they came in the clutch. They got it done. And
Right.
now they go and travel to Seattle.
In a rematch of last weekend's game, I believe it was the week 18 game for home field
Yeah.
advantage. So Seattle winning that game is the reason it's in Seattle and not San Francisco, and we'll see if they can capitalize off of that.
Yeah, because that was 13-3. San Francisco didn't even score in that game. And it's really going to suck for San Francisco. Obviously, we talked about it once. No George Kittle. He tore his Achilles, and it's just really, really unfortunate. For a guy like George Kittle, man, we all love him. He's probably the most loved player in the NFL, probably behind Drake May. But Man, we love George Kittle. I think everyone does. But yeah, it really, really sucks to see him go down with that Achilles injury. But it's going to be a fun divisional round of playoffs next week.
Absolutely, and a good intra-division matchup. You got the 3 out of 4 NFC West teams still in it. Maybe there might be a Rams beat Chicago. That means the Super Bowl nominee and the NFC is guaranteed from the West.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll have to see what happens. There's a couple good games coming up.
I know it's going to be it's just going to be an interesting stretch to see what pans out, but I think we both probably would agree it'll be the Seahawks and Rams in the championship.
Looking that way, I wouldn't count Chicago out
Yeah.
yet. I'd say Chicago has better odds of winning than San Francisco.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so Sunday night we had two bangers on Saturday. We started the Sunday slips with some fun games, and then we move into Sunday night. Everyone expected this game to be a pretty high scoring game with two really, really good quarterbacks, but we saw the complete opposite. We saw defensive battles. We saw a lot of sacks. We saw some turnovers. What was your biggest takeaway from this Chargers-Patriots game?
I'd really say the Patriots defense was the most impressive of it all night. They bailed out the offense a couple times when the first quarter pick in the red zone, basically they were inside their own 10-yard line, and the defense held without giving up any points at all.
Yep.
They failed on the fourth down try.
Yep.
And I believe that next drive or the drive after that, that's when the Chargers did get their field goal. But after that, they were never really that close again of scoring the rest of the game.
No.
The pass rush, Herbert, you could tell he was uncomfortable and phased out of his normal protection, his normal rhythm. He didn't have time to throw it, and the run game was pretty much non-existent other than him. He did most of the rush yards. So I'd give the MVP of the game as the Patriots defense for sure.
Yeah. I think that's very well said. That Patriots defense just played outstanding. They had 6 sacks, and I don't remember what the pressures were, but Zach Kerr, who is the linebackers coach, subbing in for Terrell Williams, who is the DC. He's got prostate cancer, but I think it's prostate. But man, he had an excellent game plan. We knew that the Chargers' offensive line was missing 2 key pieces due to injury. So Zach Kerr decided, hey, I'm going to draw blitzes all game long. And that's just what we saw, blitz after blitz after blitz.
Yep.
And there was just no way of stopping that. When you got Christian Gonzalez, Marcus Jones played well. Hawkins, our safety, played outstanding. The coverage down the field was excellent on all 3 levels, short, medium, and long passes. So kudos to that Patriots defense. They played outstanding. So moving forward for Herbert, has yet to win a playoff game. They got to figure out what they can do to get him his first. It seems like on paper, they got Quentin Johnston, they got Keenan Allen, they got what looks like to be a star running back in Omarion Hampton. They got a great tight end in Gadsden. It's just they can't ever seem to get over that hump year in and year out. And it's just quite unfortunate because I really do like Justin Herbert. I think he's a great quarterback. I think he understands defenses very well. He can make deep balls or deep throws. And it's just there's something about the Chargers just being cursed in the playoffs.
Right, and even again this year and last year, the threw 4 picks in that game last year
Yep.
didn't. And even if he had time, to your point, the secondary coverage from New England was pretty locked in, locked
Yeah.
on, and you didn't hear names like Lad McConkey come up often, or even Keenan Allen dropped a couple passes that he should have caught or needed a catch, and it's just looking a little tough. And this was even a year with Kansas City out of the picture for the first time in a decade, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So they had it. This was an opportunity year for them, and
Yeah.
still could not move the needle in the right
Especially
direction.
for a quarterback in his second season that you're playing against. This was supposed to be the time for you, Justin Herbert, to get a playoff win. And we just simply just didn't allow it. We didn't allow any momentum. I think they had 207 total yards of offense,
Right, and
which you're not going to win football games like that. You're just not.
yeah, and probably a majority of them came in the first half too. Like
Yeah.
the defense was holding for New England, but the second half is when the dam broke, and they just
Yeah.
they were pounding that offensive line. There was no
Yeah.
chance that Herbert had any time. He essentially mentally gave up and knew that it was almost like that Peter Griffin meme, when Peter Griffin is playing football on the Patriots and and the rest of the team quits, and he just gets bulldozed and ambushed by the other team. That's
Yeah.
what it was like last night.
Yeah, that's that's a funny reference. Yeah, so, Drake May, he didn't play all that great, but it was his first playoff game. He threw a touchdown. He had over 300 total yards. We saw him use his legs a lot, which was great to see. And as a Patriots fan, and Drake May sitting right here next to me. um, as a Patriots fan, I'm really, really excited to see, how this next game develops, whether it's going to be the Texans or the Steelers. He got that out of the way. He got his first playoff game out of the way. So now I think what we're really going to see in this next game is what Drake May has done all season long. He led the league in completion percentage, which is incredible for a second-year quarterback. And it really, really does help when you have Josh McDaniels calling plays.
Right, having him back off, I believe he's been in and out of that organization,
3 times.
yeah, a whole bunch in the past decade.
Yeah.
It seems like. So it's always good having a familiar face back in the building, helping
Yeah.
continue that continuity.
Yeah, it's really good to see Josh McDaniels back in a Patriots uniform. And Stevenson played well. He started off the game very, very strong. And the thing that I saw with what we did in the second half is we kind of went away from the run a little bit, which is a Josh McDaniels special. It's just what he does. He loves to go away from the run, and I don't understand it. But when it's working and Ramondre's, heating up, I would love to see him get worked in a little bit more. But, hats off to Drake May for getting us down the field, getting into some field goal situations, and throwing an absolute dime to Hunter Henry against his former team, getting in the end zone, which was really, really cool to see. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I think the Patriots, I think we're going to be fine. I really do. I think we have a chance to make it to the AFC Championship, and more than likely we'll probably be at home against Buffalo, which what more could you ask for? An AFC East rivalry. You got the NFC West rivalry on the other side of the bracket probably going to happen. So you'll hopefully see those teams play each other 3 times this season, which will be really fascinating to see.
Right, and if that game does happen, that would be Josh Allen. A lot of pressure on Josh Allen. That game.
Yes. I don't think the Patriots are not going to have a lot of pressure. I think no one expected New England to go 14-3 in the season. Certainly, I didn't expect us to win 14 games, but there's going to be, like you said, a lot more pressure on Josh Allen to get it done.
Certainly, and can you believe one of those early losses was against former Peter Carroll's team? Pete Carroll did so bad they ran him out of the building after one signed a 3-year deal. Told Grandpa, "You need to stay retired, buddy. You're gone." Yeah, that guy stinks.
Oh, I know, dude. I know.
So, yeah, we're talking. It's a long season, of course, always, and
Yeah.
the first game of the season a lot of times is the opposite of what the season will look like.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to say week 1 is an extension of the preseason. You're just figuring everything out. It's a brand new system. You're finally getting those game reps that you haven't gotten either December or January, or you're hoping for February. But man, that first loss of the season would have put us at the 1 seed if we would have won, which is crazy to think. Week 1.
I know. Yeah, week 1.
It's insane.
Who would have guessed it against?
Every game matters in the NFL. It really does. Well,
yeah.
we got a couple minutes left on the show. I want to get your game prediction for tonight's game. We kick off here in 14 minutes.
I'm gonna say, give me a Pittsburgh victory. I think Stroud is solid on Houston. However, I think it's a Pittsburgh field kind of night, especially cold outside.
Okay.
Don't particularly love Rodgers. However, they're coming off that high from last week though against the Raiders. That's always a solid win last week, and we'll just have to see. Have DK Metcalf back now after that suspension? Didn't he punch that guy in the face?
Okay, he didn't fully punch him. He whiffed. He hit his blue hair.
Okay.
Yeah. He didn't. I think if he fully punched him, I think there would be a bigger story.
Right.
But yeah, I know what you're saying though. Yes, they do get him back.
Yeah, so he'll be returning, and it looks like some other guys are shaping up to have a pretty good game themselves. And Texans, I don't know a whole lot about their defense. I'm not sure the status of Nico Collins either. He's been in and out, so they're dealing with some stuff. Is he out?
No, he's active.
Oh, he's active. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so you're rolling with the Steel City.
Mm-hmm. Give me that Iron Curtain.
I think... Yeah, true.
Steel Curtain, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think you're right. I do think the Steelers are going to win this game. I think it's going to come down to a last-second field goal.
Ooh.
Whether it's the Texans missing or it's the Steelers making one with Boswell. But yes, I do think the Steelers end up winning this game, and for one reason only, Mike Tomlin. He's 20-0 on Monday Night Football.
Oh, wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
more impressive than the 9-8 extension record, having a winning season forever.
Yeah. So my buddy Steelers fan, he was telling me about how Tomlin is 20-0 since I don't even know when on Monday Night Football, which is just like that's insane.
Absolutely. Yeah, that takes decades, over a decade, to play that many games on Monday Night Football.
Who do you like to score tonight and why?
Give me DK Metcalf because he's coming off of that suspension. He's got a bone to pick with Roger Soft Goodell for not allowing fun and a little bit of horseplay with the fans.
All right, I like it. Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead and give me DK Metcalf.
All right, I'm rolling with Dalton Schultz because the Steelers are second worst in the NFL against tight ends. So you're rolling with DK. I'm rolling with Schultz. I'll combine them into a parlay.
All right, I'll do the same.
All right. Aulden, it was great having you on the show. I will put your podcast links down in the description so that way people can start viewing some stuff from you. But it's been a pleasure, man. This is my first ever episode of Z Sports, and I just want to say thank you for being a part of this journey.
Dude, I'm honored to be a part of it. Congratulations. I'm sure you'll be grinding your way up to the top, be one of the top sports podcasts here in no time.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. All righty, man. We'll enjoy some Monday Night Football. We'll catch you soon.
Absolutely. Yep. See ya, big man.
See
Appreciate
you, brother.
it.